Hello, welcome to episode 67 of the Podemup podcast, in which we discuss 1994 classic Mega Drive platformer Earthworm Jim. Elsewhere in the episode, we're also recompiling Sonic Unleashed and remastering Tomb Raider 4, 5 and 6, plus incoming indies and more. Hello, welcome to episode 67 of the Podemup podcast. My name is Ollie, and over there, they see him walking, they hear him talking, he makes them feel like they're on cloud nine. It's Tibbs.
Yes, it is. Yes, hello. That was good. That was good. You built it up.
I did. I built it up before we started recording. Yeah.
Yeah. You delivered. That's very good.
Yes. That idea came to me. Actually, it came to me before last episode, but you unusually agreed to do the intro last time, or like the 1 in 10 times that you agree to do the intro after when I ask you if you want to do it. So I didn't get to use it then. So I thought I'll whip it out again now.
Stick that in the back pocket. Wait for the opportune moment.
Wait for the opportunity. Yeah. So episode 67, we got Earthworm Jim in the Podemup Book Club this month. In a little while. But what you been up to otherwise, Tibbs?
I'm a bit low energy today.
Okay.
It's 22 minutes past 10. I'm eating dried cranberries, straight out of the bag. Yeah.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah,
to give me energy, because they're quite a tart flavour.
Yeah. Yes, they are, aren't they? Yeah.
I thought that might wake me up, so I don't know if that's doing the job. It says fruits for feasting on it, and that's what I intend to do. So low in saturated fat.
Excellent.
I haven't really been up to much. It's been lots of non-gaming things going on.
Ooh.
Yeah, exactly. But I have been playing. I went back to. I don't know if it's because I started playing Earthworm Jim for the podcast, but felt a bit platformy. So I've gone back and been playing new Super Lucky's Tale, which is
lovely.
It's a lovely game.
It is. Yeah. It's gorgeous. Yeah.
So I'm having a great time with that. I played it before on the Switch. I'm playing the Steam version now on the odd Steam Deck.
A bit smoother, I'd imagine, isn't it? On the
it's a lot smoother. Yeah. It's just a lovely game. I just love games like that.
Yeah, it's just nice, sort of unchallenging platforming, which I mean in a good way. It's not going to stress you out. It's just some nice, really fun, quite a variety of levels in there as well, isn't there? So
yeah. And that's kind of what I've been after. Just something, nothing too. It's nothing I'm going to bite the controller in half playing. I can just, when everything's sorted, I can just relax, play a little bit of a little fox running round.
Yeah.
Doing what he does. So that's I've been playing a lot of that.
Really good soundtrack on that game as well. Isn't it?
It's really good. Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah, the whole thing. Because consider it's a. I suppose it would be classed as an indie game. It's not like it's a small team that made it, and it's not like a big a big conglomerate. So it's really good. Everything about it. I love the characters. I love the art style, the music. Everything is it's brilliant. I love it. So I've been playing that. The new Tomb Raider remasters came out.
Oh yeah. The 4, 5 and 6 is it?
4, 5 and 6, because I remember when the original trilogy remaster came out,
Yeah.
and you said then, do you think they'll be? Do you think
I
they'll do
did.
the other games? And I
Yeah.
said they'll probably do 4 and 5, but I doubt they do 6 because it's on a completely different engine. They did it.
They did
The
it. They went and did it.
crazy sons of a guns. They did it.
So they didn't. Did they recreate that engine, or did they sort of mangle it into the existing engine?
I
Which route did they take?
I, I think it's not in the same engine. It's obviously using it's a separate engine to the other games. It has been mangled a bit to make it into a, a playable state.
Oh, right.
Because I mean, the original Tomb Raider 6 was an unfinished game at release.
Yeah.
Half the game was like chopped off. There's areas in the game that were partially finished, but they've just put an unlockable, a door that can't be unlocked in the way to stop you getting into it.
Oh, that's bad, isn't it? Yeah.
It's full of like little patches and,
Yeah.
band-aids all over the place like that.
Right.
So they've managed to restore some of those areas. They've restored some like moves and stuff and lines of dialogue that were cut from the original game. So they've managed to do a fair chunk of work on it to try and get it playable, but there's only so much they can do with the game because it wasn't a finished product in the first place.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
it's still not a very good game. It's certainly the weakest of all the remasters so far. But I don't think you can blame them for that. They did the best with what they had.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice to include it anyway, just for
Yeah,
anyone who wants to have a go at it. Yeah.
yeah, and the amount of effort they have put into restoring things and trying to flesh out the game a little bit more. Um, Sort out the controls because the controls were abominable on the original release of it, and
Yeah.
there's like lots of game breaking bugs that they fixed, and so
Oh,
they've
that's
gone
really good.
above, yeah, they've
Yeah.
gone above and beyond on it, but
Fantastic.
yeah, they're getting a bit of a slating from certain critics online, saying oh, it's not the remaster it should have been, blah blah blah, but I think
Oh, come
you've
on.
got to understand it in the context that it
Yeah.
was you know I think the original game just got to the point. It was in development hell for so long. I think they got to a point where the publishers just said, "I don't care if it's finished. You're releasing it in January."
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what happened with it. And you can't. You just what can you do with that? But the rest of the remaster is fantastic. It's same sort of thing. I didn't play through much of it because, like I said, I got other things going on at the moment. But I just ran through the first sort of introductory levels on each one just to get a feel for it, and it looks like it's the same sort of quality as the last remaster. So yeah, really good, really good. So
Excellent. Yeah.
yeah.
Good.
But other than that's about it really for this month. It's not been
Okay.
a big gaming month. It's
That's
been
all
a
right. That's all right. I've got a few things to talk about.
let's hear it.
So I've been playing a little bit of Sonic Unleashed recompiled. Did you see this?
Oh, yeah, I did see that. I've not tried it, but I saw it. Yeah.
No, it's really good. So basically, Sonic Unleashed is a game that's kind of stuck on 360 and PS3 until now, because some very, very clever people have managed to do a static recompilation of it for PC. As far as I understand, the difference between decompilation and static recompilation is decompilation, they sort of take it apart bit by bit, code line by line, and just sort of reconstruct it, don't they?
Yeah.
Whereas I think this static recompilation stuff that you're seeing more and more of lately is kind of slightly more of an automated process, is it? Like they've
Yeah,
got
I mean,
like code that translates it into something else, I think.
yeah,
The way it
as
works.
far my understanding of it is like with a decompilation project, all the code will be annotated. It's all been,
Yeah,
done by hand. They've broken it all down and they've recreated it, by hand with all the annotations of what it does. With the static recompilation, um, it the machine translates it, into I think it translates it into C code, but there's no annotations and it's not very elegant code. It works, but
yeah.
it's barely human readable. So it's not like you could just run any game through it and get a nice decompiled version that you can tweak and mod and things like that. So
Yeah.
the fact that they've added, quality of life things to it and, tweaked it here and there, I think is an amazing achievement because it must have been incredibly difficult.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, they kind of been inspired by the N64 work that's been going on with static recompilation lately.
Mm.
One of the interesting one of the guys that works on that is the guy that ported the Sonic Unleashed levels into Generations, as I understand it. So that's kind of
Cool.
an interesting coincidence. But yeah, so and on the 360 it was locked to 30 frames per second, and I think the resolution was a bit lower, so it's kind of difficult to enjoy now on its original form. But this is full 60 frames per second, whatever resolution you like, and it just runs beautifully. There's no.
I'm gonna say I saw some footage of it, and it runs.
It's perfect.
Perfect, yeah.
Yeah, I played all of the daytime levels, which I'm really out of practice on. I died a lot on there. Didn't really try much of the werehog stuff, but I was able to, because you have to get the original files from the 360 to make it work. You can get the stuff from GitHub that you need to convert it, but annoyingly I had one of those data transfer cables somewhere, but I have no idea where it is, so I had to wait to get a new one come in from CEX. So I connected it up and got the old detachable hard drive, which, by the way, brilliant feature on the 360, isn't it, the old detachable hard drive?
Oh, no, amazing, yeah.
I'm amazed, no other console's done that, but it's a great idea. So hooked it up, and I managed to get my original save file from there as well, which is really good. So I can it's a full on conversion, really. Yeah, so impressed by it. It's really, really good. It's like all the install sequence is all sort of in keeping with the game's UI and everything as well. Just really nice sort of flow to it. You can even get all the DLC as well. That all works too.
Oh, really? Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So it's just fantastic. I mean, and it just sort of opens the door for lots of other exciting projects that are potentially possible now. Doesn't it, really?
Yeah. My first thought is Tomb Raider, to be honest, because the Tomb Raider Underworld, there's a whole DLC campaign, a whole new chapter of the, like a side story that's exclusive to 360. It's never been released on PC, not on PS3. It's completely locked to 360. So maybe this open, I know, like we've already said, it's not as easy as just sticking a game in one end and having a port out the other, but
yeah.
It shows it's possible. And if there's, I imagine how many games have got console exclusive DLC that could be saved and preserved now. That's really cool.
Yeah, really important. And whole games that are only on those consoles and anything like that. And just doing it for a 360 was a relatively recent console and graphically impressive and everything, and all sorts of bells and whistles going on. The fact that they can do that is incredible, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, very exciting. Other than that, I've been playing quite a few Steam demos lately because they had the Steam Next Fest.
Oh, the Next Fest, yeah.
Recently, and I think that's some other demos that happened to coincide with it as well. So I've got a few that I'm just going to sort of rattle through. So I've got Ruffy and the Riverside, which is quite a nice little charming 3D platformer. It's one of those where the character is 2D sprites, like hand-drawn 2D, but he's in like 3D levels.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
That doesn't always look great, but in this case, it kind of works actually. I think because the art style sort of matches the character quite nicely, and it's all animated really nicely. But he's got the ability to take a material from one type of object and apply it to another. So, for example, if you've got a waterfall that you need to get up and you can't climb it, you can get the material from like some vines and apply it to the waterfall, and then suddenly the waterfall's made out of vines, and you can climb up. So it's a really nice idea that I haven't really seen before. So lots of potential for some sort of clever platforming. I think I think it's not quite open. It's sort of levels, I think, but they're fairly sort of openish areas. So I enjoyed that. That's nice. Ruffy and the Riverside, that's called. Another one is Neon Inferno. This is basically just a really good old-fashioned pixel art run and gun game. Basically,
I think I've seen that. Yeah, I think I've seen
really
people
nice.
Playing that online.
Yeah, nice effects and everything. Just great sort of pixel art. And what I like to see, you can shoot into the background as well. So some enemies pop up in the background, and then it becomes I think you hold the trigger or some other button, and then you switch to a sort of almost a shooting gallery kind of thing where you just move the cursor and shoot them, and then some other guys come to the side and you got to slash them as well. So it's really good. I enjoyed that. This is a good one. Deliver at all costs. So this is like a very stylish sort of driving delivery game, kind of isometric angle. It's set in the sort of 1950s America. Sort of really authentic. Like everything is really nicely done according to that style. It's really good. It kind of reminds me of a late Xbox Live Arcade game. It's the sort of thing you'd see on that sort of late on its life. So you've got to just pick up deliveries and then deliver them to other places, and driving around you can knock things over. And the mission that I played involved transporting some fireworks, and I think each mission is a different thing which affects the gameplay in a different way. Like these fireworks are all sort of going off everywhere, and you've got to avoid them. And then as you drive around, you really start to annoy all the people around you. It seems like they seem to get really cross at you. And whereas in most games they sort of run away from you, they sort of try, like these pedestrians are sort of trying to attack me. And if your car gradually gets more and more beat up, so you have to sort of stop and get out of the car to repair the tyres and try and avoid these people trying to beat you up. And then the tyre is like really big and just offsets the car completely. So it's a hilarious little game. I had a lot of fun with it. So that's one to look out for.
Just having a quick look at the trailer now.
Yeah,
it looks really good.
It's really funny. It's called Deliver at All Costs. I'd recommend checking it out. Yeah. And the last one is just a really nice little game. It's called A Bumpy Ride. I don't think it's had much attention, but it's essentially, a couple of episodes ago I mentioned an idea when I was talking about Zelda Spirit Tracks, of an idea of game that I wanted to make, where you just take the train portion of that without the Zelda-y bits and just make a game where you're just riding around a little train and picking up passengers and dropping off. This is basically that, but my idea was setting it in the English countryside. This is more of like an American Old West, kind of Wild West style thing, but it's just a really nice relaxing game where the map is open and you don't know the route from place to place, so you pick up a passenger and you just kind of have to ride the rails and see where it takes you and try to get them there on time. So that's a really nice one. It's clearly inspired by Spirit Tracks as well, like all the art style and the camera, and you've got a little what do you call it, a horn that you can pull down and go brr, brr, that sort of thing. So very, very cute little game. So that's called A Bumpy Ride. So I recommend having a look at that as well.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think all these demos are probably gone now because they're,
like I say, it's time limited.
Time limited. You only get a week as well. I downloaded quite a few, but I don't have time to get through them all in a week. It should be 2 weeks really. So you don't have a lot of time in the old Steam Next Fest to go and check out everything you want to check out, I find. But yeah, it's good. Nice.
I love how Steam Next Fest has more interesting stuff going on than like E3 and all these big ones.
I always go through them and I think, I'll download that. Just loads of really nice indie games.
E3 will be, Assassin's Creed 15. Yeah, okay, I know what that is. But this time, I don't know. This time he's. This time he's an apricot farmer or something. I don't know. Yes. Great, okay. And then you got Next Fest. Okay, deliver at all costs, and the pedestrians all, hang off the back of the car, and you've got to go around. And it's all 1950s stuff. That's interesting. That's new. That's exactly. Something weird and fun and quirky.
I know. I just wish the bigger publishers would take a bit of a chance and make smaller games that are more interesting rather than these huge multi-million, hundreds of millions of billions of pounds to make. And it's just a generic open world thing that you've seen before a million times.
It's just a map with 10 million different icons on it that you have to, chore through.
Yeah, it's just, I think, and everyone's saying this at the moment. I think, aren't they? Just AAA games are just too big and bloated, and something needs to change. Really,
I saw, that there was a headline about, rumors about the what date the PS6 will launch, and whether it could be announced this year. And it's like, really.
Put something on the PS5 first.
I'm going to say there's one game on the PS5 I want at this point.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
I don't think I've ever known the gaming industry to be this uninteresting.
I agree.
It's literally just indies holding the whole thing together at the moment.
It is. There's nothing like, now that Unleashed has been brought to the PC, that's my one reason to own a Xbox Series X down the toilet, isn't it? Really?
Yeah,
So
pretty much.
Nothing going on there. One game going on the PS5, Astrobot.
Astrobot.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Astrobot. The only the only thing between both consoles is Astrobot. That's it.
Yeah.
After what, 4 or 5 years?
After 4 or 5 years. It's
pathetic. Absolutely pathetic.
It is. I really, yeah. I don't want to sound like a grumpy.
Yeah, we do. I know we do this every month.
Every month, but we do it because
true.
we care. We want the excitement of. I want E3 to be exciting again.
Yeah, well, I mean,
whatever it is.
For E3 to be anything again would be nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna say yeah.
It's gone now, isn't it?
Mind you, I would say Nintendo's the last bastion of hope. I think. I'm still excited about Nintendo stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited to see what they got for the Switch 2 next month. We'll talk about that in the next episode, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, hopefully something cool there.
News.
I don't have any news. Do you have any news?
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4.
Oh right, okay, yeah. Has that been? I missed this completely. I think I saw a whisper of it, but I missed. There was a trailer and stuff, was there?
Yeah, it's a trailer. I mean, it's it does what it says on the tin. It's just it's just the same as the same sort of remastered treatment they did with Tony Hawk's 1 and 2. So that'll be good fun. I'll be picking
I still haven't picked that up actually. 1 and 2.
Yeah, I was gonna. I got on PS4, but I keep meaning to get because I think it'd be a good one for the Steam Deck. Apparently, it's supported on the Steam Deck. I think that'd be nice to have that all portable. But it's still like when I looked at it, it's still like 40 odd quid, and it's like the game's pretty old now. It's been a few years since it came out.
Yeah,
it shouldn't be full retail price. So I put on my wish list, and then I'll wait for a Steam sale whenever it drops down again. But
yeah. Oh, by the way, one more thing about Unleashed is that also works on Steam Deck. Apparently.
Oh, does it?
Yeah,
good.
It runs really well on Steam Deck apparently. So that's pretty cool.
All right, I'll be sorting that out then.
Yeah, give it a go. Yeah. I don't. I can't think of any other news. Been a bit.
I think there was something about. Didn't Microsoft announce a handheld, or was that?
Did they?
Was that a rumor?
Well, I didn't see anything about
Xbox handheld. Xbox handheld console. Who's making it and when it will release?
I think a lot of people are eyeing up the sort of handheld market after the Steam Deck. And
I'm going to say it's hard. I was going to say it's hard to be excited about it when we got the Steam Deck, really.
Well, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's basically what it is, but it plays more games, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, but there's loads of these. Every other day, I see like this, like a new sort of Chinese company usually making like a sort of a new handheld for retro games and things like that. So everyone's jumping on the bandwagon, aren't they? Really?
Yeah, that Ambernick or what is one of these companies, Ambernick something. They seem to have a new version of their handheld out every week.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, well,
yeah. Who's keeping up with all these? Because sort of once you get one of those, they kind of.
I was going to say, I mean,
how often are you going to upgrade it?
They're good. I'm sure I don't have one, but I'm sure they're a decent enough system at what they do. But I mean, they're emulating the SNES and the Mega Drive. Do you really need that many hardware refreshes for it at this point?
No, I know. Yeah. Okay. Well, there might be a Microsoft handheld coming. We don't know, unconfirmed.
We don't know, and honestly, we don't care.
Not really that bothered, to be honest. But,
but did we talk about that? Oh no, you carry on.
No, I was just gonna. You finish that because I got something afterwards.
I was gonna say, did we ever talk about their new marketing strategy? Everything's an Xbox.
No, I don't think we did. No.
Yeah, literally, there's like their adverts like it's a picture of a mobile phone. This is an Xbox. And,
I've seen it. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like it's just terrible. Is
it an Xbox? Is it really? Is it a streaming thing? Is that what it is? They can stream Xbox to everything.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah,
it's just bad. It's just really bad. It's just a complete loss of corporate identity. Terrible.
Well, I think a lot of them will just end up doing this ultimately, won't they? They'll just all be like game streaming companies, not even bothering to put out consoles anymore. Eventually, they'll probably do the next generation, but after that, they might think, we could just pump it out to people's phones and that's it really. But it's not very interesting, is it?
No, it's not very interesting. I don't care for that.
No.
What were you going to say?
I just incoming indies. I was going to jump straight into Earthworm Jim, but then I remembered I got some incoming indies.
Yeah.
Should we do those?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Incoming indie.
Well, first of all, it's an incoming indie and it's an update on the previous one. So, Radventure has a new Kickstarter going. So that was the 3D platformer that's a bit like Rayman.
Oh,
we mentioned a few episodes ago. So it failed its original Kickstarter. I think it priced its target a bit too high, but it's come up with a much more reasonable second Kickstarter now. So it's going for about £15,500, I think, and they're currently at 14,000. They've got 20 days left to go. So I think they should be able to should do it this time. So yeah, it's a really nice looking 3D platformer. So go and check that out. It's called Radventure. But the new one this month is another 3D platformer called Elusive. Oh. So this is basically the Borrowers in game form, really. Oh. So you're just a tiny little guy, and you're running around someone's house, and that's kind of all you need to know, really. It's from the look of it, but it's really it's just really smooth, silky. It looks really, really nice. So go and.
What is it, like a platformer or?
Yeah, 3D platformer. Yeah, I think it's got 2.5D sections as well. Just really nicely done. There's a good trailer on the Kickstarter that shows you everything you need to know, really. They've already far exceeded their goal as well. I think I think they were going for 30,000 and they're up 130,000 now. They've also got 20 days to go, so they've no problems there. So yes, very nice looking game. That's called Elusive.
Oh, brilliant!
Check it out. I'll put the link to both of those in the show notes. So yeah, that's about it, really. Unless you want to talk about anything else, we can roll right into Earthworm Jim if you like.
Let's go straight into Earthworm Jim. I think, like I say, it's not been a game-heavy month, so I don't really have much to talk about playing, and the news is, pretty thin on the ground for the sort of stuff we're interested in. So
yeah, let's just go and do it then, shall we? Let's take a little short break while I have a little drink, and then we'll be back to talk about the big guy.
Video Game Book Club.
Hello, welcome back. Today we're talking about Earthworm Jim. This is a classic 2D platformer developed by Shiny and published by Playmates in America and Virgin in Europe. The version that we've been playing is for the Mega Drive, but it was also released on the SNES. The Mega Drive version was released in October '94 in America and November '94 in Europe. So the other ports include there's an enhanced version on the Mega CD. There's also a version shrunk down for the Game Boy, and also Game Gear and Master System, and the more proper version for the MS-DOS, Windows, and later on in the Game Boy Advance as well.
And HD.
And there's an HD version. So in 2009, Gameloft created a remake entirely from scratch. Actually, they didn't even use the original source code. That was originally for mobile devices and then the Nintendo DSi, but then they made an HD version for Xbox Live Arcade and PSN.
Yes, I gave the PSN one a try for the sake of this.
Did you?
Yeah, it's good, except for the fact that on the PS3 interface, the cross media bar thing, the little icons can play an animation or a little sound every time you highlight over them. Earthworm Jim one is the most obnoxious one I've ever heard. It's him saying "groovy" in like the maximum volume, just every single time, and it's in the list. So you cycle through to get to a different game. Every time you go over it, groovy.
Oh, do they? I didn't know they did that on the PS3. I've never owned a PS3.
Yeah.
Do they all make their own sounds whenever you sort of go over them?
They can do, yeah. They can do. I think it's up to the developer. So and they can change the background of the screen as well. So you highlight over it, and like the wallpaper will change, and the theme music for the game will play, and things. So they got all sorts of. Some games don't bother with it, but some games, they go really over the top, and some games just do really obnoxious groovy.
Naming no names, yeah.
Yeah.
So the original Mega Drive versions also was on the Wii Virtual Console, but currently you can also get it on Nintendo Switch Online as well. And they put it on the original Mega Drive Mini, so there's quite a few options still. If you do want to grab an original Mega Drive copy, you can expect to pay at least sort of £20 to £30, depending on its level of completeness. So yeah, not too bad.
I can say it's not too bad, really.
Yeah. The story goes that Jim starts out as just an ordinary earthworm, digging around, doing his normal earthworm thing. Meanwhile, up above in space, Psychro, an intergalactic bounty hunter, is delivering a super high-tech, indestructible spacesuit to the Insect Queen, or to give her full title, Queen Pulsating, Bloated, Festering, Sweaty, Pus-filled, Malformed Slug for a Butt. Note that I needed no reference to write that out because I remember it word for word from the cartoon, which is... Also, we'll talk about that, which is a brilliant cartoon. So in a tussle with a renegade ship, the suit tumbles down to Earth and lands precisely with its neck hole on top of Jim, allowing him to take control of it and become sentient himself. So overhearing about Psychro's mission to return the suit to the Queen so that she can somehow use it to become more beautiful than her imprisoned twin sister, Princess What's-Her-Name, Jim decides to go on an intergalactic adventure to rescue the princess from the Queen. However, he'll need to outsmart a whole variety of weird villains along the way as they all attempt to claim the super suit for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, it's a story as old as time, isn't it, really?
It is, yeah. I mean, in case you've never encountered this game, which I find surprising because it's quite a well-known game, it's a pretty wacky old adventure, isn't it?
Yeah.
Old Earthworm Jim. It's pretty out there. Obviously, in the 16-bit era, 2D platformers still very, very much the rage. Absolutely everyone trying to capture the magic of a Mario or a Sonic at this time. And I think this is one of the better attempts at it, really.
Oh, definitely,
Because there's a lot of kind of duff sort of mascot characters that sort of went nowhere, wasn't it? But
I was going to say, I think a lot of the mascot characters tend to be, name the animal,
yes,
and that's as far as they get with it.
Yes,
but
it was a very sort of generic game as well, isn't it? Just sort of really generic platforming.
Yeah, but I really don't get that. Well, I think with Earthworm Jim, they really did have, a creative spark there. It wasn't just just a copycat,
Yeah, well, you can see the original idea was let's make a platformer. And then from there, they just went in completely sort of their own direction.
Yeah.
And the whole game has a real sort of style to it that very sort of visually striking. The great characters, and quite a lot of variety in the levels as well. I thought, which we'll go into. I've listed all the levels out because they're all worth talking about, really. I had Earthworm Jim 2 when I was a kid. I think I got it for my 11th birthday. I think '96. So I really liked Earthworm Jim 2. I had played this first one a little bit. My friend had it, and I remember just watching him play it, and I remembered most of the levels from that. And I've obviously played it a little bit here and there, but this is the first time I've ever gone through the whole thing. I did eventually sort of I say complete it. I'm not going to claim that I completed it because I used some cheats and I used some save states to get there. But I did want to see through to the end, so I did that this evening. And yeah, so what's your history? Did you have this, or did you?
I didn't. No, I mean I've always been aware of it because it's even back in the 90s it was it's a well-known franchise. It's a well-known game. It's not like some little obscure thing. So I was always aware of it from seeing it in like magazines and. Was there even did I imagine this, or was there a strip in Sonic the Comic?
No, there wasn't. No.
There wasn't.
No. I don't know if there was another comic somewhere else.
I was going to say I've got a memory of some, but maybe I'm confusing that with a recent thing, but I've got a memory of seeing some comic strip panels from it. But I've always been aware of it, but I never played it back in the day. So this is my first. I've dabbled with it on and off, but I never really got into it. So this is my first time having a proper, a concerted effort to give it a go and see how I get on with it.
Yeah, same here. So how did you find it?
I'm very bad at it. It's a very difficult game. I don't know if I'm just really bad or if it is a difficult game.
No, it is a difficult game, definitely.
When you said save states, I thought, yeah,
absolutely. It's thing is that when you play it now, obviously it's rock hard compared to sort of modern platformers. But you have to remember that was just the norm back in those days, because if you could do them, then people would just rent them, complete them in a weekend, and then not bother buying the game. I think that was kind of their thinking behind making these games so bloody difficult a lot of the time. So you just had a different philosophy back then, I think, because like now, if a game's too hard, you just stop playing and play something else. But back in those days, you get like maybe 2 games a year if you're
exactly,
if you're
that's
lucky.
the thing.
So
you
had whatever you bought.
You've got this for at least 6 months to a year.
Yeah, exactly. You just sit down and you just play it, and you just play it, die over and over and over again, and then you put it in the next day, and you do it all over again until you get slightly further each time.
Well, it's I don't know if I mentioned this before, but there's a fighting game on the Mega Drive called Eternal Champions.
Yes.
And it's got like stage finishers, and they're the versions of like the Mortal Kombat fatalities and things. Yeah. And I can't. It was a little while ago. I was just looking up the game because I used to play it loads back in the day. And I looked up the stage finishers, and I remember thinking, these are so obscure and so ridiculous. I don't know how they expected anyone to figure it out. But then I realised I did figure them out back in the day, and it must have just been through just absolute repetition of playing, because that was the game I had. So that's what I played over and over and over. So I think they were just designed like that.
Is it like button sequences?
No, it's like they're specific to each stage, but you'd have to, like, almost pixel perfect. You'll have to do, like, to finish the stage with the throw at an exact point where your character lined up with a specific part of the background, and that would trigger something.
Oh, cool! That's quite cool.
Yeah, it's quite cool. But looking back on it now, like if that was released now as a modern game, people would be like, "That's ridiculous. How are people supposed to figure it out?"
It's so fascinating, isn't it? Yeah, games change like that. Yeah. Like our acceptance levels of certain things have, really changed just with the sheer amount of games that come out. I think, isn't it?
But I do wonder if I would have had a better time with it when I was a kid, and I just had the time, and it was that was my game, until the next birthday or Christmas. Would I have got used to? Would I have just got good, to use the modern parlance? I don't know, but I find it very hard going.
Yeah.
I didn't complete it.
No. How far did you go?
I got to the bungee. The bungee stage.
Oh yeah, the bungee stage. I quite enjoyed the bungee stage, I must admit. So he's got a variety of moves and things. He's got his little red blaster gun that you can sort of move around in however many directions. So you can do diagonal as well as straight and up and down. And that's got a sort of limited ammo, but you can pick up new ammo. And if you get down low, it does sort of top itself up very slowly.
Very slowly.
I noticed. Yeah. So, but yeah, he's got a whip, so he can use his own head as a whip. He's we haven't really. I mean, he's a worm in a suit, like this muscular super suit. That the suit is sort of its own thing, and he's just a worm head sticking out of it with eyes and a mouth, and he can bring his own worm self out of the suit and sort of whip things. There's a couple of times in the game where you become free of the suit and you're just a worm jumping around trying to get back in the suit. It's just such a great idea, isn't it? Just for a character, just
it really
a worm
is,
in a suit.
Yeah, it really is.
And he can float by spinning his head around. Stuff like that. Whereas normal platform character will hang from hooks and things, he just wraps his own head around the hook, so his hands are free.
Yeah.
Which is great. And also, if you press up, he sort of lifts his own bum up as well. So you can avoid like enemies that are coming along underneath you. You can just sort of pull your own bum up. And just the animation's so good, isn't it?
It's so good. There's the one thing it strikes me with it. The one thing I remember of it, most is the animation, and not just on Jim, like all the characters and stuff.
Yeah.
I think I think it was the second or third level, with the big gerbils, the big hamster.
The gerbils that you ride on, the
Yeah.
hamsters. Yeah.
They're so well animated, and they're so
brilliant.
they're
Yeah.
like proper like Cartoon Network style.
Yeah, they are.
It's so good. Everything about it, the animation, I really really like.
The whole thing does have a kind of Cartoon Network feel. It's sort of this sort of anarchic kind of theme to it.
Yeah.
All the characters, they're all sort of crazy and out there. Just and he's got some great idle animations as well. Did you ever just sort of leave him to just do a variety of different things? Like he'll take his worm self out and use it as a skipping rope.
Yeah.
He'll flick the gun up in the air, and sometimes it'll go off in his face. It's like flexing his muscles and his trousers fall down. It's just just like the attention to detail.
I was going to say, everything like some of the death animations and just everything is so well animated and so expressive.
One of the reasons why it stood out to other platformers as well, I think, it's just this is a good character that's extremely well presented.
Yeah.
And even his voice samples as well. He's got this real southern drawl to his, like he said, plasma. And one of my favourite things is, I think, when he's riding that hamster and sort of in the bonus stage where he gets the boost and he goes down that wormhole, he goes, "Whoa, Nelly!" It's just so good.
And the graphics are so good as well, aren't they?
They're beautiful. They're really, really nicely done. It's so it's by Shiny, who were sort of made up of people who used to work for Virgin, and they were the guys who did like Aladdin on the Mega Drive, which we've also done on the book club. So, and there's a lot of similarity there. I don't know if they were able to take that engine and use it or sort of recreate it, but the movement and the sort of the way the levels are designed really remind me of that game in particular.
Yeah.
Just in the way that the levels aren't just made up of like clear tiles, like platform, and then background. It's all kind of feels like the same sort of designed picture, doesn't it? Really.
Yeah.
And it kind of sometimes it makes it hard to know where the platforms are a little bit.
Yeah, it can.
Which Aladdin had that same problem.
Yeah.
But it's more sort of an environment that you explore. It feels more.
And just like the background art is so detailed, and
it's really detailed. Yeah.
Like the water effects. There's a like the water stage, like the rippling effects in the background, and the Mega Drive can do some pretty good stuff. But it's I don't think I'm exaggerating when I would say it's probably one of, if not the best looking game on the Mega Drive.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah, definitely. It's got some really nice visuals.
What was the deal with the special editions Mega CD thing? Is that just like a CD soundtrack, or is that?
It's a CD soundtrack. They basically they were just finishing the game, and Sega said, "Can you do a version for the Mega CD in a very short space of time, please?" So they extended some of the levels a little bit. They added a whole new level and just threw it together very, very quickly. I haven't played it. It's not a great level because they just had such time pressure to put it together. I think it's called Big Brutey, and you're chased by this monster. I think it's just a regular platform level. I think. And the CD soundtrack and things like that, and I think it's got some new animation frames in it. It's just it's a slightly enhanced version, but it's essentially the same game for the most part. I should try that one day, because it's probably the sort of the definitive version, perhaps you could say. I guess just because it's got a few extra things. Let's go through some of the stages, because I think it's worth talking about all of them actually.
Yeah.
So New Junk City is where you start. I think it's based on in Earth, and it's a junkyard, just like towers of tires basically, and everywhere. And early on, you launch a cow into the air by whipping a fridge that's suspended by a crane onto a seesaw, and the cow goes up, and it just says "cow launched," and that's it. You just carry on.
Yeah.
And then cows become a regular thing throughout the Earthworm Jim series, really, don't they? And kind of a spoiler, but that cow reappears at the very, very end of the game.
I was going to say, I know from just from hearing about the game over the years what that ends up doing, which is brilliant.
I just saw it this evening for the first time. I've heard of it, like you. I've heard about it before. I think this is the first time I've seen it, but yeah, very funny. And then each level, in between each level, there's sort of a mini game called Andy Asteroids, where you travel down this sort of wormhole, no pun intended, to the next planet basically, and you've got to chase Psycho. You're on your little sort of pocket rocket thing. I guess it's a bit like the Sonic 2 special stage.
Yeah. You
sort of have to move left and right and dodge the asteroids that are coming your way. I found it's got a little bit tedious after a while, after you play it after every level, and the difficulty does increase, but I felt it kind of a little bit paddy. Padding things out a little bit.
It's not. It doesn't, like with the Sonic 2 special stages. They felt a lot more. I don't know, a lot more planned, because you've got to pick up like the little blue orbs and things. They just seem a bit haphazard. It doesn't seem like there's as much planning as there was with the it's just like, we'll just.
There's no pattern to them. No. I couldn't work out what those blue spheres were really all about. No. Apparently, if you get 50 of them, you get a continue, and that's kind of why they're there.
I presume it's explained in the manual, like so many things.
Yeah, Yes, it is. Yeah, I had a little look, and I think I looked up on a wiki or something, but it's probably in the manual as well. There's like shield power-ups as well, and the little boost where you goes, wow, nearly. And if you lose the race, you then have to have a little boss battle with Psycho on the planet's surface. And then in the second level is called What the Heck, which is basically set in hell, pretty much.
Yeah.
And it's where it's ruled by Evil the Cat. And I like that one of the standard enemies here were just lawyers with briefcases, which is brilliant. And then you got the underwater level, which is called Down the Tubes. Now this was tough. This one,
that's the one with the gerbils.
The gerbils, and more even tougher than that with the submarine pods.
Yeah. So
this is split into two sort of acts, you would say, if you were talking in Sonic terms, and it's the second one has a really, really long sequence of tunnels where you're in this undersea pod, and you've got to change the left and right on the D-pad to change your trajectory, and it's quite, you kind of get it eventually, but it's quite fiddly to figure it out at first. And you've got a limited supply of air. There's air refills, but they're really hard to connect to. I couldn't work out where the point was that I was able to refill it.
Yeah.
And if you knock into the rocks too many times, you'll die. So there's this really, really long sequence where you get to top up 60 seconds worth of air at the start, and then that's it, and you've got to go through this really long sequence, and there's a lot of save stating went on to get through that. One of those things, I don't know how anyone got through without cheating a lot.
It really feels like, I think, we probably talked about it before, but the Lion King video game, it's the developers have said the reason the second stage is so difficult is what you were saying before about the rental thing. Yeah, I think this is the rental block level. I think this.
This is all the demo.
Yeah.
Basically, this is the demo cut-off point.
Exactly.
Yes. But if you get to the end, you get to face Bob the Killer Goldfish, which is a bit of an anticlimax because you just have to walk into his goldfish bowl and you knock him over, and he just that's the end of the level.
It's brilliant there. I love it.
Yeah. Because the cartoon has a lot of these bad guys in it. And you get a lot more sort of context with that, obviously, because it's only so much you can do in a game. But having seen the cartoon, it's nice to see them pop up in all these enemies in the game as well. So then you got the bungee jumping one, which is the Snotter Problem level. So you're against Major Mucus there, and you're both bungee jumping down these sort of rocky rocky thing, and there's a sort of gloopy pool at the bottom, and there's like an eye stalk poking out of there, and if you get too close, this monster comes and just eats you immediately, basically. But you've got to knock major mucus into the rocks either side, and you both got like a little bungee meter, so you've got to do that before your bungee meter gets too strained and thin. And I quite enjoyed that one.
Yeah,
it's quite good. Yeah. And then the imaginatively named level 5 is after that, which is level 6 in the Mega CD version, because the extra level comes right before it, which is just kind of annoying. But
I bet they did that deliberately, going just. I think so. Of the game,
there's full of like sort of things to just like that, just to throw you. Like Princess What's Her Name is supposed to be a reference to the fact that every game had a princess to kill to save.
Yeah.
And she's just Princess or What's Her Name, But this is the lab of the evil Professor Monkey for a head. And if you basically, to picture him, you just have to picture a scientist with an upside down monkey grafted to his head, and they share the same eyes. So it's Professor going down from the eyes and an upside down monkey going from the top, which is just a fantastic creation, I think. But apparently there's a secret level in here called Who Turned Out the Lights, which I didn't see.
Oh.
Where it takes place in like darkness and in silhouette, and you only see like Jim's eyes moving around, and you got to somehow get through that. So that was I missed that, but that's quite interesting. And then I really like the next level. Have you ever played this? It's called For Pete's Sake, and you've got to get Peter Puppy, who's your sidekick in the cartoon, from one. It's kind of like an escort mission.
Oh, I've seen it. Is that the one where I've seen video. I think if it's what I'm thinking of, where they sort of bouncing the puppies along, or is that from the second one?
That's the second one. That's the bonus level in the second one, where you've got to bounce his puppies from one to the other without dropping them.
In this one, I've not seen that.
He's skipping along this alien environment to get back to his house, and you've got to protect him from the bad guys that are hovering around, and you can make him jump by whipping him, and you've got to whip him over the gaps.
Oh, cool.
It's I remember seeing it as a kid, my friend playing it, and I was both getting quite frustrated with it, but I actually quite enjoyed it this time. Admittedly, I had the infinite lives cheats and save states and everything, but yeah, I quite enjoyed it because it was just a bit different, and I thought it's a bit more interesting than like a normal escort mission, because you're sort of controlling the character and he's moving along at a certain pace, and you've got to get the timings right. So do you just make him jump first and then take down the enemy that's waiting on the ground for him, or do you take out the enemy first and then whip him? Because if you do that, he might fall down the gap. So it's just sort of working out little timing things like that, which was really quite good, I thought.
Yeah.
The last two levels are basically just pain and death. I at this point I turned on infinite health cheat as well, just to get through it, just to see the end, because it was just literally impossible. Like I was reading an article about the second to last level, which is called intestinal distress, which is basically takes place inside someone's intestines. And this level was thrown together in a day and a half, and I think the guy tested it like twice before, because it was right at the end of the project, and it was all under time pressure, and you can really tell, to be honest, because there's just nothing, but there's these little balls of digested food that come down these intestinal tubes at an alarming pace that you just cannot avoid. So that's horrible. And then Buttville is the last level, which is the home of Queen Slug for a butt, which is just wall-to-wall spikes and horrible things. So the last two levels basically impossible, I would say. I can't imagine anyone actually being able to complete them, but they're there. But fortunately, before that, I think most of it is. I can see it being doable. There's a lot of frustration there, and you will die a lot. But I think with enough perseverance, you can probably get through all the other levels until you get to there, which is just you probably won't do it. But well, people do though. I've seen I was looking at a YouTube playthrough, and this guy was just doing it perfectly. Not getting anything wrong, and I cannot fathom how long that must have taken to get to that point, really. But yeah, quite a variety of levels and things to do in the levels, which is why I thought it was worth talking about all of them. Because you don't get a lot with platformers at that time. It's normally just the same sort of thing every level. But they put some effort in, I think. So yeah, worth celebrating. Anything else left to talk about with the game, really?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. No, it's good.
It's good. Yeah, classic Mega Drive and SNES game. I think the SNES version was made at the same time. I've never actually played the SNES version, but I think it's pretty much the same.
I think it's pretty much the same. I got a feeling there might be some minor differences, but yeah, I think for all intents and purposes, it's the same.
So as I say, there's a sequel, Earthworm Jim 2 in 1996, which I loved. I think it's the better game of the two. I think it's a little bit more doable, difficulty-wise. You probably get a little bit further into it before it starts getting really, really hard. Loads of humour, loads of, everything is sort of dialed up, really. Lots more variety as well in the levels. Better music. The music in Jim 1 is pretty good as well, but I think it's slightly better in 2. So yeah, 2 is probably the better game, I think, but it was good. It was fun to play this original and just sort of compare the two on this occasion. And then infamously Earthworm Jim 3D was the third game in the series, which is one of those N64
not very well received, I understand.
Regularly panned N64 platformers, one of those little groups, along with the Bubsy one and Superman 64 and all that. It's always in the same sort of group, isn't it? I think the franchise was handed off to Interplay for that one, and they sort of just messed it up and I think it was going on for a while and they just pushed it out in the end, really, which is a shame. But that was a 3D platform game. And then the only other one in the series is Earthworm Jim Menace to the Galaxy, which is a Game Boy Color game, which also wasn't very well done, apparently. I've never played either of those. But yeah, and that's where the series stops, unfortunately. I think it's well overdue a comeback, really, isn't it?
Well, there was one hinted, wasn't there, for the...
There was, for the Amico, yeah. Which I don't think was ever in development, ever.
I don't think it was either. The trailer, as it was Earthworm Jim on a beach for like 5 seconds.
And then he just walks off.
He just walks off and it's like, oh,
okay.
Right. Okay.
Yes, nothing to do with Earthworm Jim at all.
Nope.
Really. None of the characteristic humour or style or anything like that. So yeah, that never saw light of day and probably never will. So I don't know where things lie with the series now, really. I guess it's owned by whatever company was going to do that, but didn't. But yeah, shame. But as I say, there was a TV series. Partway through the development of the original game, the Playmates, the publisher, decided they wanted to make it into a big sort of multimedia franchise, basically, and with toys and the cartoon show. And the cartoon had 2 seasons, and I've got a DVD of it, actually. And I watched a couple of episodes this week just to sort of remind myself of it. And it's just a really good show. Did you ever see it?
I did back in the day, yeah.
Yeah, it's just loads of humour. Dan Castellaneta is the voice of Jim, and he does a fantastic job. Obviously, the voice of Homer. As I say, I love that it's got 5 of the villains that are in this game in it, and I like that they're not all in every episode. So sometimes you'll have him against Evil the Cat and against Bob the Killer Goldfish and things like that. And it's just there was a nice variety as well to that, and it was brilliant humour. And great, one of my favourite kids' cartoons.
Earthworm Jim, the soil he did crawl. Earthworm Jim, a super suit did fall. Jim was just a dirt-eating, chewy length of worm flesh, but all that came to a crashing end. Earthworm Jim, he's such a groovy guy. Earthworm Jim, he rockets through the sky, cruising through the universe, having lots of fun. Here comes Earthworm Jim, you know that he's a mighty one. Look out! Despite his great big muscles and his really big ray gun, Jim is still an earthworm, but then he's the only one with a super suit to make him really super strong. Jim can be a winner if we only sing along. Earthworm Jim,
we think he's mighty fine.
Earthworm Jim,
a hero for all time.
Earthworm Jim, hooray for him!
Groovy! Yep, you picked the right day to come on down to the Hero Hutch, young fella. Got a special on sidekicks.
Show me your wares, fine merchant.
Yeah, this here's Whoopin' Cough Boy. Got the power of Gale Force coughs. Good model, not a lot of miles on him. Mr. Forehead Vein, those babies can clutch villains in an unbreakable grip. Good for opening bottles, too. Ew. Xantor, master of... Xantor, why ain't you wearing your tights?
It's gone all pooty, stinky, you see.
Well, looks a bit snappier in the tights. He's master of the flying toupee.
Gosh.
Okay, right. So what are we playing next then? Tips.
I've got two in mind, and I
Okay.
don't know. I don't know.
Right.
I will let you. Right. We can either do one of them. We wouldn't be. I don't think we'd be able to complete it, but we'd be able to do enough of it to get an idea of it.
Okay.
But I don't know if it might be a bit too similar to a game we've done before. The second one, I think we could definitely. Again, I don't know how far we'd get into it, but the risk is I don't know if there would be because I haven't played it myself. I just got a feeling it might be a good podemup game, but there's a gamble that we might play it and find there's not quite enough to talk about. So I don't know.
Do you want to tell me what both are, and then I can choose? Or
Okay, so the first game is on the PSP, because I thought we haven't done a PSP game yet.
No, we haven't. No, yeah.
And it's Danganronpa.
Is that a shoot 'em up?
No, it's similar to Phoenix Wright in that it's a courtroom type thing, with investigatory levels in between, culminating like in a courtroom session. But it takes a slightly different twist on. It's not the courtroom in exactly the same way as Phoenix Wright is. It's got its own sort of twist on things.
Right.
So there's that. And the other choice is for the Dreamcast, and it's a game called LOL, Lack of Love.
Yeah, I've heard of both of these, but I can't picture either of them. What's that? What's that one?
So Lack of Love is an evolutionary game. You start as like a little creature on a planet.
Oh, yeah. I remember reading about this in the Dreamcast Encyclopedia.
Yeah. It's very well regarded, but I don't know. And there's some good English patches for it now as well, apparently. But I don't know. Do you know what I mean? It could just be, we talk about it and it's like, oh yeah, you just sort of go about, and there's not much story to speak of, and there's not. But it could be a completely transformative experience, and it's amazing. So I don't know.
I'm just going to have a very quick look in the Dreamcast Encyclopedia just to jog my memory, because I read about this fairly recently. And if I look at it and I think, oh yeah, that's that game, because I remember seeing that and I think, oh, that's a potential game.
I saw it on an episode of Consolvania way back when, and they spoke very, very highly about it. So.
Okay. No, I'm forgetting what order the letters come in the alphabet. Hang on. LOL, Lack of Love. Oh yeah. I'll read out the thing, because it's only a brief thing. A truly original game that enthralled some and confused others, LOL starts off with a small egg underwater which soon hatches. Taking control of the small organism inside is up to you to help the creature not only survive but ultimately thrive and evolve through a series of forms. You do this by communicating with others, other creatures, eating others. With practically no on-screen HUD information, it's up to the player to figure out when their little creature needs to eat, when to sleep and when to pee. Yes, really. That sounds really interesting.
That's what I mean. It sounds good podemup material,
yeah.
But at the same time, there's no HUD material. There's no story to speak of. I don't know if it might be. I don't know if we'd struggle to talk about it. So
we might play it and just like end up getting nowhere and not figure anything out and just like be like, okay. But even that in that case, we can just look up stuff, the YouTube videos people have made about it, and still talk about stuff, even though we didn't actually experience it. Yeah. Much like Overblood 2, for example.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think let's go for that one.
Yeah.
It sounds a bit, because the other one would be interesting to compare to Phoenix, right? But and it would be nice to have a PSP game.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to pick a new console that we haven't touched before. Really,
yeah. No, I appreciate that. Let's do LOL first.
Yeah,
and we can save that one. Save that one for another time.
Okay.
Whip that out later in the year or whenever. Okay, let's do that then.
Okay, cool.
Sounds interesting. Cool. Okay, good choice. Right, we are available at podemup on Twitter and Blue Sky. If you want to email us, you can do mail@podemup.live, and podemup.live is our website where you can see all our past episodes. You can also get all our episodes on any podcast client of your choosing, and Spotify and YouTube and all the rest of it. So, yeah, please do. Please check out our previous episodes. They are right there waiting to be listened to.
You might want to cut this bit out because I don't know if it will still be there yet. But I had a watch thing on Namecheap, and podemup.com is available now. It wasn't before, but it is now, and it's only like £7.50. So when we finish, I'm going to order podemup.com.
Yeah.
So we might be able to edit that back in afterwards.
Yeah. Okay. I will. Yeah. Okay. Cool. That sounds good. I've run out of things to say.
So have I.
Have you any? Oh, okay. Well, we should probably say goodbye then, I guess.
Yeah.
It's all right. We've fulfilled our contractual hour according to the timer, so we don't need to hang around. It's fine.
Yep. Yep. We've been. What is that? How long have we been running? 1 hour and 4 minutes.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad.
That's
We're
not
about
bad.
4 minutes past the clock, so we should be getting out of here really.
Yeah.
It'd be like 10 minutes, 1 hour 10 minutes with all the music and everything. So
That's good. 10 minutes, so we get paid overtime. Once we
get
have
paid
to do
overtime,
10 minutes before we get the overtime. You see, so
yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay, good.
Cool.
If only, blimey, if only someone could pay us without having to put adverts in, obviously. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll catch you next time then. For LOL Lack of Love probably in April sometime, I expect.
Yeah.
So see you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Gone all pooty, stinky, you see.